Welcome back. I'm Ivy Joeva.
Are at the Green Girls First Anniversary Bash.
TheGreenGirls.com.
Here representing Hype to have it also.
What brings you out to the event tonight? You're a green girl.
I'm a green girl. I'm the food guru, actually. So I do the cooking segments and contributing recipes, all about sustainable cooking that keeps it simple yet fun and sexy and interesting.
And what exactly is sustainable cooking?
Well, it's just utilizing ingredients that aren't going to have any negative impact on the future of the earth. So, for example, I'll use things like coconut milk instead of cow's milk for a recipe. So I know how, because I'm a classically trained chef, I know ways to make it taste amazing and still be conscious of the environment without compromising the taste.
Now, coconut milk is one of my personal favorites, but it gets so tricky when you get into the transportation of something like coconuts. How do you really quantify whether that's going to, when you're thinking of like gas emissions and all those types of things, is there like a particular source of coconuts we want to get, or would it always inevitably be better than a cow's milk source?
No, and those are things that you really have to weigh out. So for instance, cow's milk. I'm really not a fan of cow's milk because cows just take up too much resources from the food that they eat and the methane gas that they emit, that I very seldom use cow products. So I like to use coconut products because a lot of vegans tend to appreciate that because it's not from an animal source, right? But then there's soy and there's rice milk as well. And I always kind of take into consideration how far the distance is that these certain foods that I'm using have traveled to get here versus the ethical part of not using an animal and this and that, and soybeans. There's a whole non-GMO side of soybeans. So you really just have to outweigh. There's a good and bad to everything. So you really just have to kind of take that into consideration. And then people's palates as well. Just because something is, friendly for the environment doesn't always mean that people are going to like it, but I certainly always strive for that.
So, you're really so right about how spoiled we are in California. I really know this coming from living in New York the past year. Even with the farmers markets all over, it just isn't as fresh as when it's grown locally. What advice would you give to someone who maybe doesn't have access to all those fresh fruits and vegetables grown right around the corner?
I get that all the time. Start with a simple little windowsill arrangement with different herbs, or you can even do it inside too. They've got those great little things from Smith & Hawken that you can buy the herbs and have a little herb garden inside. Start there, and then you'll just get a knack for it, and you'll want more and more and more, and then you'll know how to turn your roof into a little 9x9 plot garden to start growing your own lettuces and herbs and carrots, and it really can happen so quickly, and it's so much easier than we think it is. And it's so incredibly gratifying to go out and pick fresh herbs or fresh lettuces for a salad that you're about to eat. It's a totally transforming experience. So I just say start small. It doesn't have to be a big overhaul. I think that's the kind of key with the whole green movement is we don't want it to be intimidating for people because we think it's all or nothing. I have to change everything right away and just one bite at a time.
TheGreenGirls.com.